From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, I'm Coach C. Collins.
Coach MJ, GGT.
And welcome to Bout That Life podcast, where we talk a little bit of basketball. AAU obviously is a main point of emphasis. We talk about life, we talk about things in general, get different perspectives, and I am very excited for this episode because, for one, I got my co-host back for a minute because
it's been a minute.
He's a busy man and hasn't been able to do as much here, but again, that's fair because we all got lives, we dads, we got things going on, so happy you're back, Mark.
Appreciate you, man.
And then I got a great guest. It's been a friend of mine for a long time, a little bro of mine. He actually played ball against my little brother, so that's even funnier. So shout out to Webb, right? But what he accomplished this year, which we're going to get into big time, is something that I definitely would want to highlight big time for a lot of people. I even had the fortunate side of coaching his son in AAU, and that's where we really got to know each other even more and connected. So we'll get all into that into a second, but first, shout out to my sponsors, Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. If you are in line looking for a shooting machine for your facility or for your home, go ahead and check them out. Also, if you're looking for AAU tournaments or even rec league level, go to Hardwood Palace over here in Rockland, California. They have a great facility. They've been very consistent for the last, I believe, 15 to 20 years. So go ahead and check them out. Hit up Steve or Grant. Let them know About That Life sent you. Also hit up Dr. Dish. Let them know About That Life sent you, and they will hook you up with a discount. Now, let's get to our guests. So this brother has not only coached the game, he knows the game, he's played the game at a high level. He essentially was able to live that dream that a lot of kids are fighting for right now, getting highly recruited. But his story is one that is definitely one to admire, and what he's accomplished and where he's at now, being a family man, being the varsity coach at Sacramento High, won a section title, and again, we'll get all into that, but I'm really happy to have this brother because he's a good dude, has a good heart, and a good passion for the game. Without further ado, Matt Johnson.
Appreciate y'all, man. That was a great intro.
You can tell I've done this a while.
Right. But no, I'm a big fan of the show. I appreciate you guys, man, for having me on here. I watch like almost all your episodes. I'm a Patreon. What's it called? A
Patreon.
Yeah. I subscribe on the YouTube.
I appreciate that,
it's
man.
an honor for me to be here. Yeah, so appreciate it.
Nah, man. Well, before we obviously get into the high school and the AAU and all that stuff, first question for the people checking it out on YouTube and the people that listening, tell them who you are, your background in basketball. I mean, obviously you got a lot, but, give us a brief synopsis on Matt Johnson, the Hooper.
Right. So I played my whole life, obviously like all of us did. I grew up just falling in love with the game on my own, not really having the trainers, not really doing the AAU thing because we didn't have that back in our day. You know, you had to find the love of the game for yourself.
Street ball.
Yeah, street ball. Playing at the parks, playing outside, and that's how I did it too. Come to find out, I was pretty good at it. So when you're good at something, you tend to like it a little bit more. It's easier to fall in love with something you like, something you're good at. So once I found out I was good at it, I just kept pursuing it. Doors kept opening. I kept getting opportunities. People kept helping me. Like I was never a kid where people were trying to help me. And then once I had people reaching their hand out to help me, I was like, oh, this might be something good for me. Let's keep exploring this. Fast forward, I went to Sac High. Long story how I even got to Sac High, but I ended up at Sac High. Derek Swafford, I met him like one of the first days on campus. I was a freshman, and everybody told me, you got to go meet this guy if you want to play basketball here. His name is Derek Swafford, and I seen him big, tall, 6'4", but his stature is so much bigger. Like he's intimidating, and I was kind of scared of him the first time I seen him. He had a big suit on, and I was like, man, I went up to him and I was like, hey coach, I want to play basketball. He looked at me, he said, you're on the freshman team. I was like, oh, okay.
Didn't even give a shit.
Freshman team I am, and I just had to work and I just had to grind my way up. I had to impress Swafford. I had to impress Earl. I had to impress those guys. And that's a hard task, because when I got to Sac High, that really changed me as a player because I'm playing with Dave Young. I'm playing with Jamel Swafford. I'm playing with Isaac Ricard and Jeremy Blair, Fabian Baker, all these like grown men and studs. And if you guys know the names, yeah, you
Right.
guys know them. And the team, they were so good. They won 31 games. They were 31-3. They were legit. So I'm looking up to all these guys. I see how they work. I'm going to practice with them. They're busting me. And I'm just a firm believer that iron sharpens iron, and those guys really sharpened me, and I feel like I sharpened them. And so when it was my turn to take over the mantle, when those guys retired or graduated, when it was my turn to take over the mantle, I just felt like they started something here. I always call them the founding fathers of Sac High. That's what I call them, those guys,
Nice.
the founding fathers. Even Chuka, if you know, he's a barber now, Chuka, you know what I mean? But all those guys are the founding fathers because they're the ones who started it. They're the ones who broke through that gate, broke through that door, opened all those barriers for guys like me to come through. Like, I get a lot of credit and I get a lot of love, but those guys are the ones who first knocked down those barriers. Those are my big bros.
Right.
So when I got that mantle to them, I remember Jamel Swafford, he handed me his jersey and he said, after they lost, he's like, it's your turn. I wore that same jersey, number 2, number 1. Wow. So I took it in my heart. You know what I mean? I took it like that meant something to me. And not just me, the Kevin Galloways, the Deion Clays of the world. We all like embodied that and embraced it. And so when it was our turn to take over that legacy, we took it over for sure and carried it on. You know what I mean? They
Nice.
broke that barrier. We ascended it. And then it just kept going on ever since then. I don't know if you guys know Sac High. It used to be a powerhouse. Back in the day.
I remember. Well, like I said, with Webb and watching kind of from afar, you guys going at it because I was out by then. But no, I remember. No, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And how? I mean, go ahead. Tell me more about that, man. Tell it now. You're the man, or you're sitting on top of that hill.
Right. So it was my turn. So we just wanted to all do it the right way, and you know that's just what we did. Work hard, show those guys because those guys worked hard. So we wanted to work hard. We ended up winning. We won a lot. We won 31 games as well.
Nice.
We won a section championship. We went to the state. What did we go? NorCal finals. Yeah, and then lost the NorCal finals. So we had a really good team. We hung up like 3 banners.
Nice.
So it was nice. It was nice. We had a good career there. So I felt like we carried on that legacy. I felt like we carried on that tradition. And if you look back, fast forward 20 years from now, you know, that legacy continued on for a long time. It's not my legacy. It's the legacy of Swafford, but I played a big role in it. I played a big part of it to carry on that torch that my big bro started. So it means a lot to me. But then, okay, so after that, I went to Sierra College.
Right.
I had 2 kids. Just throw that in there. I had 2 kids. I was getting recruited by colleges.
Look, man, you ain't the only one.
My life was so crazy. University of San Francisco, they're the first ones to offer me a scholarship. Sac State was recruiting me, so I had opportunities out of high school. But I was a little kid. My world was so crazy. I didn't even take my SATs. I never took my SATs. I had a 3.5 GPA, and I never even took my SATs.
Right.
All I had to do was write my name on the paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? Never did. I signed up for it one time, and then I had my son got sick. I had to go. I signed up for it another time. We had a basketball game. I was like, oh, that's more important. I signed up for it again, and I just didn't go. I don't know.
It's just young, man.
Dumb,
being young.
Guidance.
It's just being young.
Yeah, but other priorities that were more important than these stupid SATs. That's how I felt, but they weren't stupid.
Right.
So I went to JUCO. I wasn't a qualifier. I went to JUCO, played 2 years for Fasano, John Fasano up at Sierra College. He taught me a lot. Like I give Swafford a lot of credit, but I give Fasano a lot of credit as well because Swafford taught me how to play hard. Fasano taught me how to be tough, how to be a man, how to fight through the adversity, how to, you know, he took that chip on my shoulder. He made it a little bit bigger,
right.
Because pretty much every day he challenged me to be better, challenged me to be stronger, tougher, all that good stuff. So it helped me out a lot in my career. And then I ended up getting a scholarship, going to NAU, playing there. Had a good career there. Came back home, played in the ABA, bounced around the ABA. You guys know how the ABA is. I see the ball over here.
That was me in Chicago.
It's a different league, man. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, but that is the ABA.
Right, that is definitely true.
But there's a lot of good hoopers there, and it's a grind. Guys who love the game, and you can, like, my whole thing was I'm always trying to just make it out of here, and if this is what I got to do, then this is what I got to do. So I just grinded my way through the ABA, ended up making it, bounced around overseas a little bit, and then that was my plan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. No, that's good. So then, did you at any point play like some AAU, or was it mainly just street ball, high school?
No, I did play AAU. So I played for the Sacramento Kamikazes, which was just like my friend's league that we started with his dad. So like a dad team.
Yeah.
And then I played for, what was it called? Brian Mitchell's SSA team.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went to Vegas. I went to the big time and all that stuff. We got whooped. But it was like me, Rob Rose, some other guys. We were pretty good, like the Sacramento All-Stars.
Right.
Yeah, but we got whooped. But AAU was so different nowadays than it was back then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, it was like the best of the best of the best. It was, and, just call it what it is. I mean, I'm a part of this machine, so I can't act like it's not. AAU's watered down some, obviously, but I still think I think it has its pros and its cons, no doubt about that. Obviously, I'm I'm waist deep in all this, so I can't act like I'm not around it. But I do like the platform it provides. You know what I mean? It just gives kids a fighting chance, right? So that's the biggest thing with me. Mark, did you have anything off the top of your head?
I was gonna say for you, like being born and raised in Sacramento, how was, because I know as the years go on, how was the culture during your time, during high school, and even during your JUCO time, compared to what you see today, culture-wise?
Ah, man. And so I'm such a homer. I love Sacramento. I'm everything 916. I'm everything Sacramento. So I've always felt like Sacramento basketball culture it's been top tier. All my friends were hoopers, and we go and travel to other places. We go to the Bay, we go to LA, and we win. You know what I mean? We go out of state and we win. So I don't know if it was just me and my group of friends and just our time that was excellent, or it was just Sacramento. But then I kept watching, and we got hoopers out here. We always have hoopers out here. We have some of the best in the world. Like we're in California. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're in California, so you're always going to have great talent out here, no matter what. And then we're in Sacramento, which is the capital. Yeah. But we're also like it's a little hotbed for basketball. We've always had some nice little talent. We always have players coming out, going to the NBA and going far and going to college and making their name out of Sacramento. So I feel like we've always had a good, rich tradition, good, rich culture. I just feel everything's a little watered down nowadays. You know what I mean? We're in a TikTok era. We're in a video game era. Kids, I go in the gym and I see kids not warming up. They're TikToking on the sideline, getting ready for games. I'm like, man, we used to be on putting our game face on. We used to be ready for war. These kids are dancing and TikToking nowadays.
It's a little different,
high-fiving, but TikToking with the opponents.
Right.
Like you're my boy, but I'm not talking to you before the game.
We're about to play. No, not at all.
So I just feel like that's the biggest difference with basketball nowadays. But, I mean, as far as talent-wise, we still got it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, fast forward, before we talk about the high school side, what I wanted to ask you was, especially your perspective, because I don't get to sit down with too many parents that were basketball players that let me coach their kid. You see what I'm saying? That's put you in a unique spot, right? And I'm curious on your perception of a coach like me, who most people know I'm a pretty tough coach, and I'm going to hold kids very accountable, but at the same time, I really try to, break them down, but love on them and push them to be, in my opinion, the best version I can get of them. And your son included. I remember that team, God rest his soul, with Anthony and whatnot. I mean, they were phenomenal. I think we only had maybe 3 losses that whole time. I think we lost to the Oakland Soldiers once.
I was at that game.
Yeah, the Soldiers game where we lost by like 1 or 2 points, something like that. And I think it was like 2 other games. But other than that, I think we won like 50 games straight, right? They were killing it, right? It was a great team, phenomenal team. But I was always curious from your side of it, being a guy who knows the game, who's played the game, watching someone like me coaching your kid. I just wondered if you had any reflection or thoughts on thinking about that.
Yeah, this is how I've always view you, and I view your program, and I view YBA. Like, you guys are one of the best programs in Sacramento. Like, even nowadays, I don't even know if you know, but when parents hit me up, like, where should I send my kid? I always say YBA, and I always refer you. And I don't know if they say, oh, Matt Johnson sent me or not. I don't even care. But I want to help what you guys got going on here, and I wish we had more programs like this program out in Sacramento. I think it would be a lot better for everybody.
Thank you.
But I think you're a great man. You know what I mean? I think you carry yourself great. You stand for a lot of great things. You coach great. And I know you're not fishing for compliments.
No,
but this
I'm
is
not.
my opinion.
No, I'm
because
not.
if I gave my son to you. You know what I mean? So I
and that's why I like to hear from parents, because on this show, the overall thing, I want them to hear from like Mark's expertise on the training side, my expertise on the coaching and AAU side. So it's that's why I like having guests from different vantage points, right? And then again, you're a guy who played the game, who trusted someone to coach your son up. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's like the game. You know the difference between a bad coach and a good coach. You know these things, and it's like you trusted me for essentially like to almost 2 years to coach your boy.
I didn't want somebody who just rolls the ball out and lets the kids play. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that you yell. I like that you cuss. I like that you say some of the things that I can't say. You know what I mean? Well, I say them to the other kids. I can't say them to my own son.
Right.
But I feel like we coach very similar. I'm down. We coach against each other.
Yeah, of course.
I'm down here yelling. You're down here
you're
yelling.
absolutely right.
You're, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? We look at each other. You know what I mean? So we coach very similar. So I felt like it's just a natural transition for my son to play here. You guys have great opportunities, great facilities, great programs, and you're a great coach. So it was just a natural, and I know you personally. You know what I mean? So I know you off the court as well. And when all those things align, then it's like it's a no-brainer. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. Did Mark, you got anything else?
No,
you think? Okay,
that's dope.
So I want to get to your high school year. So for those who are checking this out on YouTube, and obviously if you're listening, if you're in Sacramento, you know what this man did this past year, and it was pretty freaking incredible. Again, I don't know the history. I kicked myself because I wanted to take a mental note to see if there's any coaches that did what you did, to see just how many but I'm pretty sure it's got to be statistically very, very low. So he's a first-year head coach who won a section title. Now, again, I don't know too many coaches, varsity coaches, first year do that. It usually takes coaches, I want to say, at least from and again, this is my own anecdotal opinion, I want to say at least 5 to 6 years before they really even get a shot. Yeah. He did it in one. You know what I'm saying? And he went against in the championship. I mean, went against a team that has obviously a rich history too, like Vanden, and shout out to Coach Mike because he runs a great program there at Vanden High School, and he's a future guest I want to get on my show too. But it's like when I saw you guys going against each other, I wish I could have went to the freaking game, but I had work here obviously. No, it was literally, I was like, man, I was confused because I'm a fan of both these guys. You know what I mean? Like again, and I think I've said it on the show before. Watching younger African American coaches coming out here doing their thing with young black children on top of that, and culturally and everything. Like him and Mike are very similar in terms of how they coach, who they are as men, things like that. So when I saw they were both in the championship, like Vanden versus Sac High, I was like, damn. I don't know who to root for. You know what I mean? I just was like, either way, I hope either one of these guys win. Like, and obviously you came out ahead, but really, and please put in plugs for all the stuff you're doing, because I know you're doing like a documentary on this, and putting a lot of this information out. But please, this is your moment to shine. But please describe that journey, that process, how you feel about it, everything, man. Tell me, man. It's on you.
Well, first of all, it was a great journey. It was an amazing journey. It was a surreal journey. And for it to cap off with a championship, that's just like the icing on top, the cherry on top of a special, great season. But even if we didn't win the championship, we accomplished a lot of other things that I'm super proud of. Everybody notices the big shiny object at the end, which is the championship. Mm-hmm. But all the other work that we did, the work in the community, the work at the school, just the work with the boys to mature them, for them to become better men. Those are things that I'm proud of. I don't want to say the kids' names out there, but some GPAs were a little bit lower, and now those GPAs are a little bit higher.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Some kids' confidence was a little bit lower. Now those kids' confidence are a little bit higher. And the kids, we talk about stuff all the time, outside of basketball. One of my old coaches said, if all you do is talk to your kids about basketball, you failed them as a coach. If all you do is talk to your kids about the sport that you coach, and you fail them as a coach. And I really believe that, because we're not just basketball coaches. We're mentors. We're role models. We're life people that they look up to. So we need to be good examples for them. And then just my coaching style, I was just an open book to them. I opened my life up to them. I'm an open book with everything. And then it's just a mutual respect thing with the kids, and they accepted me. And then we had something really special. And it's sad because, I always say, I'm new to this coaching stuff, I pour my heart into this team. You know what I mean? And now, I have a lot of returners coming back, but that core, that group of team, that will never be the same again. That 10 guys we had, I'll never be able to coach those same 10 guys again. So it's a sad feeling, but we accomplished a lot of things. And then it's an exciting feeling, though, too, now, because now I look forward and I was like, okay, now I got these guys and these guys and these guys. Right. And then we got next year going.
Now you got to set the bar higher, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And now we can keep going, and now we got this and now we got that. So it's a fun feeling, but that team we had was something really special. Like, I don't know if they're going to be the best team I ever coached. I don't know if they're going to be the worst team I ever coached, but I know they were my first group, and for them to trust me and for them to play so hard for me, because really it's all about them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much credit they're getting. I'm getting some credit, whatever, but it's really about them to trust me, to them to play hard, for them to trust each other. Like, it's really something special. And then shout out to my coaching staff as well. I couldn't have did it without them. A great group of guys. Like,
even Brian.
Even Brian. Oh yeah, shout out Brian Edwards, man. Yeah, he's on fire.
Even Brian.
Nah, shout out to Brian. Brian, and it's funny because Brian doesn't get a lot of credit. Yeah, Brian doesn't get a lot of credit for what he does, but he brings a lot to the table. You know, they made a joke like, "Oh, Brian, you just hold my clipboard for me," and maybe on the outside that's what it looks like. But Brian's constantly in my ear. He calls me all the time. We talk all the time. He's a support guy. He's a rock guy, and a lot of times. A good coaching staffs and good teams, and they have a lot more people who are just not X's and O's guys. Not saying Brian's not an X's and O guy,
right?
But sometimes it's about relationship guys. Sometimes it's about support guys. Everybody can't be an X's and O guy. We can't have 10 guys in the kitchen trying to cook. You know what I mean? Like, other guys have to hold the plate. Other guys have to clean up the mess. Like, everybody has to have a role that they have to play in order for the ship to run good.
Yeah.
And Brian's definitely one of those pieces that keep everything going.
All right.
There, Brian. You happy I shouted you out, man?
You know he's going to say something.
No,
man,
I know.
You better shut
He's
me
probably
out,
texting
man.
me right now.
All right? You know that was happening. Brian's this OG. Yeah. I coached his son, Amari.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's a good dude, though. He's helping me assistant coach at YBA right now, so I appreciate it. So then, so for you, when you stepped into this varsity role and you got the job, I mean, was it like, straight from day one? I mean, I remember looking at your Instagram and your stories, man. He had his kids in the gym like all the time, man. Like all the time,
Love it.
Like, yeah, Mark, you would definitely appreciate this because he was like, they were definitely, he was doing open runs, he was doing shoot arounds, you were doing weights, you were doing, I mean, I saw it constantly, you know what I mean? And he had them, started getting them doing like what would you call it, summer AAU stuff and spring AAU stuff, and just he had them going right from day one. Paired. And I man, I look at what you did. I just I always kind of sit back and look at other people's work and watch the fruit they bear, and man, you deserve all the credit in the world for what you did, man. Like, you do. I'm just saying, because I saw it from day one. Like I said, I'm just, I don't look at everybody's Instagram, I'll be honest, but there's certain people I do. I look at his, I look at yours, I look at, there's certain stories I just kind of, what they up to, man? You know what I mean? And I saw you guys, you working every day, bro. Did, obviously you had your star players. Was there maybe a couple kids that kind of, snuck in from the back there, like you didn't expect to be or shine as much as they could? Because as a coach, we obviously know, like, okay, this is my go-to guys, but someone always surprises you. So I was wondering if you had a couple.
Well, it's funny because you kind of jump back. So when I first got the job, before I even got the job, they were like, "Do you even want the job, Matt? Sac High's not very good." I'm hearing all this stuff. They're like, "Oh, the admin's up and down. They got different head coaches. They got different ADs. You're not going to get any support from the community. You're not going to get anything from this. The team's not very good." And I'm like, okay, I already know the community. You know what I mean? I don't care about the AD and the admin. I can get along with anybody, I feel like. That has nothing to do with me. And then the players, I looked at the roster, I'm like, this team can be pretty good.
Right.
Like, because I know the kids. I'm a Sac High guy. You know, one of the kids dated my daughter before I even coached on the basketball team. I coached some of the kids.
That's funny. You had a Doc Rivers moment.
Right. No, seriously, I threw that in there real quick. But it's true. But it helps you build relationships.
No, absolutely.
The kids know me. I know the kids. I coached some of them on AAU teams with my Lions AAU team. Some of them were already at Sac High. So it's not like I didn't know any of the kids. So I looked at the roster. I'm like, we can be pretty good. If all these pieces come together, we can be pretty good. And then, like you guys said, we went to the gym right away. Like, I'm no stranger to hard work. That's what I believe in. That's my core, is hard work. Hard work pays off. But the hardest part is these boys weren't ready to work hard. Yeah, like, it's funny because I was pretty good on the angles of my Instagram. Cause I would show the Instagram, but sometimes there were only 3 kids in the gym working, 4 kids in the gym working. You know what I mean? All my team's not there. So it took time for us to, and I bring my son out, I bring his friends out,
Yeah,
I bring Brian's son out just to get kids in the gym working out, so the other kids can see like, oh, we're building something over here. You know what I mean? I'll invite the community, I invite the alumni to open gyms just to get good runs in. So now my boys want to come to the gym.
Right.
So I kind of had to like
entice them. You had to build. Literally from scratch, you had to build the consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's
like,
not
I'm like,
easy.
hey, guys, we're here working.
Right.
Hey, guys, we're in the
Right.
gym. Hey,
Right.
guys, you want to come today? Okay. Because I didn't really make it mandatory because we're in the summertime.
Right, of
and
course.
but I'm like waving my hand like, hey, guys, we're in the gym. We're working hard over here. Anybody want to come? And then
Right.
guys started coming and guys started coming. And then it was just, they got better and better and better. So it was pretty dope. But as far as like kids surprising me, like, I mean, you got to start with a Shabal Barksdale. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I remember he posted. I tried to recruit him for AAU.
But
CTB
like,
got him.
do you
damn
know
it.
where he came from?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we talked briefly about
Like,
his background. Yeah,
Nobody
that kid,
knows where
yeah.
he came from. The kid hasn't
Yeah.
played. He's never played anywhere. He came to I seen him walking around campus. He's like 6'4", big shoulders, big kid.
And he's
6'5",
super athletic. This
super
kid.
athletic.
Yeah, this kid's
I'm
good.
like, hey, kid, do you play basketball? You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, coach, I play basketball. No, he's like, yeah, I play basketball and football. I was like, well, I'm the new basketball coach. Come to practice.
Right.
He's like, okay, I don't have no shoes. Whatever. He came to practice in some boots and some jeans,
Oh,
and he went
wow.
up there. First thing he do, grab the ball and goes in windmills.
What in boots?
I'm like, okay,
Like, okay,
come
we'll
practice.
figure this one out.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Some
size shoe do you wear?
Netflix
He's like
stuff right
13. I think I took my shoes off my feet and gave to him because I wear size 13. We wear
Right.
the same shoes. No, I think I had some shoes in my car.
That's
but I'm
funny.
like, here,
Yeah,
take these
yeah,
and come
yeah,
practice.
exactly.
I don't have no shorts, coach. Here's some shorts right here. We got some extras. Come practice. So he
That's
came
great.
and practiced, and then in the first day he like dunks on my center. Wow. I'm like, oh, this kid, and you know who? I don't
Yeah.
know if you know him, but this kid is a player.
Right.
And then I'm like, man, he came out of nowhere. And then just for him to trust me and to buy into the program, because this is a kid who hasn't really played basketball, haven't really been a part of that structure. You know what I mean? And for him to pretty much like give his life to me in a sense, and his parents too, to like trust me and let me mentor him and let me guide him. I feel like he was the biggest surprise, you know, for sure, because he wasn't even on my radar or my roster. I thought we could have won. I'm looking at pieces without him, but then you throw him in there, he averaged a double-double for us, like 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks or 3 blocks.
Wow.
Like amazing numbers.
That's a great story, man.
So
story.
he surprised me the most. And then just, I mean, I feel like all the kids developed, like a Mike Wilson. He went from being a shy kid in the corner who just wanted to shoot threes to our leader on our team. You know what I mean? Our vocal leader, our senior leaders, like the team rallied around him and hopped on his back. You know, everybody knows who Kendall Hearn is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he's a superstar and he lived up to the name for sure. He had a great year. But what impressed me about him the most was he went from being like a dunker to a point guard playmaker for us. He averaged like 6.8 assists in
Nice.
league.
Nice.
Yeah, like he was passing that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So unselfish because, I mean, we had a lot of players, so some people have to like take different roles. And he went from being like a scorer slasher to a playmaker.
Nice.
And he took on different roles. And then on to my next guy, Samarius Jones, Dutta, we call him the sophomore sensation. It's funny because I didn't really. So he like Dutta, we call him Dutta.
Yeah.
He was like our highest. He's like our highest ranked player or highest touted
Right,
player,
right.
highest recruited player. I don't
Right.
know. He has D1 colleges already banging down his door to get to talk to him.
Right.
But he was coming off an injury. I didn't really know him. He's one of the kids who I didn't know, but I'm hearing everything about him. Like,
Right.
oh, he's going to do this and he's going to do this. And I'm like, okay, let me see it. You know, let me see it. And he was coming off an injury. So it took him, he didn't work out with us all summer. You know what I mean? So as everybody's working out and everybody's grinding, he was recovering from his injury, which was, he came every day, you know, total team guy.
Nice.
And then when he finally got healthy, oh, the boy was a stud. Yeah, the boy he lives up to the hype. He lives up to everything. Everybody talks
Sophomore?
about him. What is he, 6'3", sophomore, probably one of the best shooters in Sacramento.
Nice.
He's out there at Golden One Arena hitting NBA threes. He really hit the game-winning three from on top of the key. Like, he's just such a bad shot. He knows me too. And we talk about it all the time, but for him, he can do it. Yeah. He gets the ball at the top of the key. There's 20 seconds on the shot clock. He's just dribbling the ball. His defender backs up. He just rises up. I think he goes like through his legs and then rises up from NBA three with like, there's like a minute 30 on the shot. I mean, the minute 30 in the game in the fourth quarter, it's like, I think we're down by 1.
Yeah.
He just rises up and just so much confidence, just knocks it down. We go ahead. We never look back again and we win the game.
Nice.
And it's like, just that to the confidence to take that shot as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see what this kid does. I can see him averaging 25, 30 points a game. He might go down as Sac High's all-time leading scorer, if a prep school doesn't come pluck him.
Right. That's possible. That's possible. Did Mark, you got anything to add to this? I know you just
that's amazing.
listening and that reminiscing to all this, but no, that's great, man. I mean, like I said, you really changed the culture of Sac High. You've helped revitalize it, and that kind of, funny enough, it makes me think of just Sacramento in general, man. I mean, this year, I think basketball in Sac is thriving at its highest in a long time. Shout out to Sac State women's basketball team. They won the conference. They won the Big Sky Conference, and they made it to March Madness. I don't know how they did. I didn't get a chance to look. I should have checked. But and then obviously Sacramento Kings, right? You should be happy. You're a legit Kings fan. You're not no bandwagon. But he's a legit Kings fan, just like I was a legit Warriors fan.
Every year I brag and say Kings are going to the playoffs, and this year we're actually going to the playoffs. So I'm kind of shutting up. I'm letting everybody else do the talking. I'm like, yeah, but I've been saying it for years.
He's been a true Kings fan,
must
man.
feel good then.
And then obviously to watch Sac High do what you guys do. I mean, even Sac State men's, they
really
Coach
good
Patrick
unity.
out there,
Shout
they
out to
revitalize
Coach
it.
Patrick, yep.
So, basketball culture in Sac is thriving right now. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It just seems to be working.
Well, this is because I agree.
Yeah.
And my thought is, I went to the Yellow Jackets tournament the other day, and shout out to Mikey. He always does a great job. And I just looked around, and we'll get to AAU basketball later on. I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about all that.
I looked around, and what I seen was a lot of great leadership, a lot of great coaches, a lot of great men and women, but we're on the men's side.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of great men in position to lead these other young men. And I just looked around, and I was really impressed. I was like, oh, I like him. I like TJ. I like Chris. I like Dom P. You know what I mean? I like a lot of people, and I like what they stand for, and I like what they bring to the table. So I feel like when you put certain people in positions, then a lot of success will follow. You know what I mean? Because it takes certain people are leader of men. Certain people stand for certain things, and then when you have those guys to help guide other people, success tends to follow as long as those right people are in place. And I look around the AAU world, I look around the basketball world, and I feel like there's a lot of right pieces in place.
Yeah.
And there's no secret why they're having success. That's what I feel like. Even like a Mike Brown
Yeah.
for the Kings. You know what I mean? You bring a Mike Brown in, and then now success follows.
Hey, he's got to win Coach of the Year.
Got
Right? If he don't win Coach of the Year, who? I'm like, who else is going to win that shit? Because he came in and just changed the whole culture. And, Mark's a Laker fan, so it's a bit of a rough year.
You guys don't even make it to playoffs, baby.
Look, man, you're feeling what we felt for a long time.
It's been rough.
We're over here fighting for playoffs.
Right.
Seeing if y'all even going to make it.
Exactly, man. That's why I'm like, look, dude, you got rough. At the end of the day, you still got plenty of championships.
Yes. We'll be back.
I think even right now, it was funny. I think I was looking at the playoff seeding. I think if we started the playoffs right now, because the Kings are in second, I believe, and I think the Warriors, we dropped to sixth or seventh. Yeah. So it's like if we would have started right now, it'd be the Kings versus the Warriors.
Right.
I was like, imagine the price of the Gold One tickets go up
or
much.
Even the Kings versus Lakers. Like
right.
I kind of want that the
exactly.
first round.
Right. That would be.
But any of those, I know. But anybody we play, it's going to be crazy down there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm going to try to get to a game.
That's what I say. Like you better, man. It's funny because so many people are. I have so many kids missing practices and stuff. They're like, I'm going to a Kings game, coach, and I'm like, I get it. Like the Kings are winning. I can't hate on that. They're winning. They're doing their thing. Now, if they were like, 10-40, I'd be like, for what? Like, what are you going there for? But now, I'm like, all right, man, go light the beam, go be happy. But other than that, no, they're doing good. So let's segue into AAU, right? Let's segue. Overall, what is your take overall, good, bad? Obviously, you had your son in it. You see it now. Like,
deep breath.
Go ahead and give me your perspective in AAU basketball.
Here's my thoughts. It's because, like, I'm such a basketball purist. You know what I mean? So I'll do the sandwich method. I'll start with something good, say something bad, something good. So for something good, like we talked about earlier, it gives the kids opportunities to play basketball. It's so much exposure for the kids. It's so much opportunity for the kids. You don't have to be the best player in the world like we used to have to be to play AAU. Like, any kid can play AAU nowadays, which is great. Like, I'm all for that. But what does that equal to? A watered down product, a super watered down product, from the players to the coaches to the referees. And I'm not trying to knock anybody. This is just my honest opinion. And I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm just saying my honest personal opinion. Like, AAU is, it's a selfish brand of basketball. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's out to get them. And I don't know where it came from or how it started, but everybody thinks AAU is like highlight tape, me time, showcase what I got now. And like, that's so weird. And I'm so against that brand of basketball. Like, I teach team basketball. I preach team basketball. The game becomes so much easier when you pass the ball to your teammate. You know what I mean? And then you get the ball back and you're wide open, and then you shoot your shot. Right. Like, you want to get the rebound, you want to dribble down, you want to go 1-on-5, you want to shoot the ball. It's not going to work. No. Like, it's not going to work ever. And then, but sometimes it does. So now you think you're good. And in AAU it does, because nobody's rotating on defense. Right. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? A whole nother thing. And that's a whole nother thing. So, like, everybody thinks I'm like this great coach and I'm not blah, blah, and all that. I just feel like I teach the right way. Like, I teach basketball the right way. If the guy's open, pass him the ball. If he's not open, then you shoot the ball, or you take the ball. You know what I mean? Or you create opportunity. And on defense, you got to play hard. You got to rotate on. Basketball is the most simplest game in the world if you do it the right way.
If you do it the right way, yes.
But if you want to go behind your back and shoot threes and do all this, yeah.
No, that's perfect. This is the type of stuff I want people to hear.
Right.
But
let me sandwich it, because then it's a good opportunity for the kids, and they get exposure in the marketing and the media and all that. So it's still, anytime a kid has a ball in his hand, it's a great thing. Okay. So I'll say that. Yeah.
And then this is kind of on the flip side of it too. What is your perspective or thoughts on like the training culture? Right, because obviously there are a lot of trainers. You know, I run a training business. Mark runs a training business on top of a media business. But it's like obviously because basketball, there's so many players. It's become a lucrative self-start business. It can be, you know what I mean. You can get a lot of people who believe they're trainers, right? And you can get good ones, bad ones, corrupt ones, people in it for the wrong reasons, the right reasons, all the above, right? Just like in anything in life. So I'm just curious your perspective on the training side and that culture.
So yeah, I'm not in the trainer side of the world at all. I'm outside looking in. Yeah. I have my own personal opinion on trainers, and they're there. They need them. Everybody needs a trainer, because okay, this is my personal opinion. I'm not a trainer. I will never train you. They'd be like, Coach, come in the gym and watch me shoot 100 shots. No. I don't want to watch you shoot 100 shots. I'll teach you how to play basketball. Right. But I'm not going to watch you shoot 100 shots. Go in the gym by yourself and shoot 100 shots, bro. You know what I mean? That's what I used to do. But no. But trainers, they're there for a purpose. But this is my thoughts on the training world, and maybe I can help correct it, and I'll throw it out there. I just feel like it's so dirty and shady. Like, every time I meet a new trainer, they come to me, and I'll just use you guys as an example. Like, they'll come to me and say, don't train with him because he's not good, and don't train with him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like don't put down the next trainer to sell yourself. Just highlight what you can do. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like there's a lot of this back and forth, and it's really muddy in Sacramento because trainers are putting other trainers down, and don't put anybody down. Just lift people up. Like, I can say the Kings are the best team in the world without saying the Lakers suck. No offense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
But I can highlight the Kings and say they're great, they're amazing, we're the best. That doesn't mean, just because I say the Kings are the best doesn't mean the Lakers suck. You know, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're the best.
Right. Exactly. And I know exactly what you mean. Did you have any thoughts on that one, Mark?
No, I mean, he's right. Because like I said, I feel like shouldn't be like that, you know, because at the end of the day, it's about the kids. Yep. You know what I'm saying? When you bring ego into it, take away sports. When you bring ego into anything, it doesn't go well. Yep. You know, and then when you have kids, whether it's young kids, because at the end of the day, you have to develop them, especially when you have them young and you influence them a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, one bad coach, one bad trainer, even a bad parent can change a kid's trajectory for the rest of their life. Yep. Yeah. So when you add the egos and the fighting and who's better, who's that, then that's when everything just collapses. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely with him. Like, you know, there's a certain way to do it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, at the end of the day, you got to do it right. Yep. So.
No, that's all good stuff. Well, I want to get into hot takes.
Oops. From the YBA.
Not that one. Hit the wrong damn button. There we go. Okay. Getting to hot takes. I wanted to talk about, especially because we are guys who play college ball, let's talk about the transfer portal. Right? Gosh. Let's talk about this college transfer portal. From what I've seen right now, it's record numbers right now in that portal right now. And, I mean, we all went to college around the same time. Wasn't no damn transfer portal for us.
You gotta toughen it out. You gotta fight it out. You gotta earn your stripes.
Yeah. So I definitely am. This is why I say I don't need a script this time, because there's just so much to talk about, like especially between AAU and college and everything. But this transfer portal has gotten just, I don't know, man. Like, and I just, my opinion is, the transfer portal has now turned college into AAU. It's turned college into AAU. Yeah. I mean, you know as well as I do. Oh, I don't like this team. I'm leaving. Right? I don't like. I mean, shit. Kids switch jerseys at halftime. Like, where this team's losing, I'm gonna go play for you now and win. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's. I hate to say it, it's turned college into that, and I do think, okay. Everything in extremes. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Anything in extremes is bad. So I don't say you absolutely don't allow any kid to transfer under any circumstance. No, that's obviously wrong. But saying every kid can transfer anytime they feel like it, with no sanctions, no penalties, no anything, that's too extreme too, right? I think you have to have a balance to it, right? Right now, I just don't get it. I mean, some kids can even be in good situations, and will still leave. Yeah,
winning programs,
right? Yeah. And I don't understand. I'm seeing freshmen leave, and I'm like, what? I remember being a college freshman. You knew whether, I don't care if it's JC, NAIA, Division III, Division II, Division I, NCAA, whatever. You knew as a freshman, you're starting over. You have to work your way back up. It's your time. You know, you got your time a little bit in preseason. You know, you maybe got some regular, you know, you have the 20-20 rule. If you're down 20, up 20, okay, you get some minutes in, you know, freshman year, right? But you knew you had to work, right? Now, because of, I don't know, maybe it's a combination of the highlight culture or the social media culture, the Instagram culture. It's like if you,
the sensitive culture.
Yeah. If you're not a Zion Williams where you're just a freshman right off the bat, starting and getting all kind of minutes, you leave. And I don't know. You guys can give me your thoughts on it, but I just, this transfer portals to me has just gotten way out of hand, and that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, so I agree. Well, there's pros and cons to it, because like you said, if a kid's not happy in situations, like I've had teammates that couldn't play for the coach that were there, and absolutely they mental issues, depression, all that stuff. So if you're not in the right program, then by all means transfer. There should be an outlet for kids to get out. But what we have right now, and it's trickling down, we just talked about, it's trickling down to AAU, it's trickling down to high school, it's everywhere now. Like I'm big on two things. I'm big on loyalty, and I'm big on earning your stripes. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not putting in work and earning your stripes and paying your dues, and there's situations like some of those guys in the portal, they probably did do these things. So I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about the outliers. But if you're not in there working hard and paying your dues, and you just want to look for something better on the other side, you want to look for something, the grass ain't greener always on the other side, you know? Like, where's the loyalty? Where's the hard work? Where's the dedication? Like, that's how I feel. But I'm so old school. We're from the same era. So I'm old school with it. I'm big on loyalty. I'm big on paying your dues. I never transferred. I never even thought about transferring. I didn't even like some of my coaches, and I'm slugging it out, fighting for them, going through a brick wall for them, because I'm going to show them that they're wrong. You think I suck? I'm going to show you I'm wrong. You took me out the game, coach. Watch how hard I go tomorrow in practice. You know what I'm saying? You're going to regret taking me out the game, because I'm going to work so hard and prove you wrong. Like, that was my mindset. But then you hit it on the head, because that's the culture nowadays. And I hate to sound so old. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age. But you know how every generation says these kids are so soft. But I think these kids are soft. Right. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I hate to be a grandpa who says these kids are. Yeah, but that's how I feel. I feel like our generation, especially in basketball side of things, like this generation does some other things better than we did. But we were just a little bit tougher. We still played outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, my knees are all bruised up from playing football on the street. Of course. You know, so.
Well, and it's like I'm just looking up the numbers right now, just so we have context, and the people hopefully listening or watching have context right now. What did it say? In 2022, 1,649 men's Division I basketball players were entered into the transfer portal.
1,000.
A slight decrease from 2021, which was 1,687. I mean,
that's a lot of kids,
right? You know what I mean? A slight and again,
that's a lot of kids.
And I'm pretty sure if I delve down deeper, but all those kids didn't find homes. You know what I mean? They didn't all get to school, so at least half of them were just sitting there, you know, doing nothing.
But on a deeper level, and this is how it affects me now with my job and everything. And it's like back in our day, it was hard to get scholarships.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I feel like this is the hardest time in the
Oh,
world
absolutely.
to get a scholarship. Like if I
Absolutely.
played right now, I'd probably be a D2 guy,
Yeah,
NAIA
yeah,
guy,
you're
because
right.
it's so hard
It's
to get a
so
scholarship.
hard. So hard.
I feel like guys on my team should already be posting like another
true.
offer,
Right,
offer, but
right.
guys are waiting for the transfer portal. You know, guys are waiting to see who else they can get other places, and they're seeing how everything shakes up, and it's a weird, and plus the COVID year,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's a weird time, and scholarships are already so valuable. You're a 0.001% if you get a
Yes,
scholarship.
absolutely.
So now, but it's even harder at this time. And I don't know how the transfer portal exactly plays a role in that. I just know that this time is like super weird, and kids should value any opportunity they
Yes,
have and
I
not go
agree.
chasing other things.
Exactly. Mark, what are your thoughts on all this?
And I just feel, with some of the kids that I've worked with and seeing the process of even, like I had two kids, MJ and Jaden, where senior year, one averages 27 points per game, the other averages 33 points per game.
Yeah.
Still, because of the transfer portal,
Right.
and they're not big names, McDonald's All-Americans, still had to go the prep route.
Yeah.
And even after the prep route,
Yeah.
because of the transfer portal, coaches are looking at JUCO kids or
Yeah.
D2
Yeah.
kids who are from D2s
Yeah.
trying to get in the transfer portal to go D1,
Yes.
who didn't really do anything, but because of they have college experience, it takes away from the kids. Again, from my side, the kids who do put in the work, who are doing it the right way,
Right.
who are raised the right way, like you said, who earn their stripes. And I feel like long-term wise, just from my side of it, looking at the kids who I know who, even though it's hard for them, they're learning life lessons.
Right.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, like
Yes.
this is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Because even these college coaches are adapting to it because they want to win.
Right.
So they don't really care.
It's their job.
Exactly. And I tell all my kids, which has also kind of changed my training philosophies and how I talk to the kids, like, man, it's just cutthroat.
Yeah.
So that means you can't take no days off.
Right.
You can't think that, if you go into a game and you feel passive or it's a bad game, that game alone could take away a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we've all kind of had to adapt. It's not fair, but at the end of the day, life ain't fair.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping.
Life does not owe you understanding.
No, it doesn't. but I am hoping, which I'm assuming, I don't know how many more years it can be like this.
Man, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree
like,
with you guys.
I know when
don't
COVID
know.
hit, I was like, all right, maybe a year or two, but it's like, I feel like that's why a lot of these kids are transferring out, because they don't have to be like, I'm about to sit out a year.
Right.
You don't got to sit out a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it plays in a lot, but yeah, I don't like it, but at the same time, it's like, you got to adapt. You know what I'm saying? Got to get these kids' mindset changed to try to survive out there.
I like that you mentioned
I
that
agree.
because it shifted the way I have to coach too.
Yeah.
Like in terms of, so like, or I'm pretty sure you guys see it on my Instagram. I like to get, the kids young, right? I have a fifth grade team. I coach DT's son, right?
Nice.
Braylon's
Yep.
on my team. Shout out to Braylon, man. I love that little
He
kid.
gonna be a beast.
Yeah, he
He gonna be
is,
a
man.
beast.
He's gonna be a 6'10" guard.
Man.
So, and Braylon, I typically try to get kids around fifth grade, and I teach them all the same college stuff, same thing I taught your son, the pack line defense, the no middle fly. I have fifth graders doing this stuff. You know what I mean? So it's pretty, even for me sometimes I sit back and I'm like, wow, look at these little kids, doing this stuff. But again, what it shifted for me is I have to have more serious conversations earlier. I have to tell the kids by sixth grade, it can't just be fun anymore. Now, if I say if that's the route you want to go, I say that's fine. But let me put you on another YBA team.
Right.
Because I'm not coaching the kids that just want to have fun. That's the difference with YBA Elite, or that's what we try to make very clear. These are the kids, not only do they, are supposed to at least, represent the best of our club, but even if they're not the best kids in our club, they're the kids that are the most focused. They're the ones that are locked in. Yeah. They're the ones that are like, okay, coach, I play football, I do track, but I'm a basketball player. Right. Like, this is what I am, and so I tell the parents, usually you could tell them like, well, you got till about 7th, 8th grade year to really start making. I tell them, no, you don't have that anymore. I'm sorry,
that's
you
realistically
don't.
nowadays how it goes.
Now, shit. I mean, you have some kids that are like 3rd grade, 4th grade that are like, really getting after it and stuff. And so I'm like, I have to tell my parents earlier. I say, listen, by 6th grade year, they're going to start to figure out who they are in this game. Whether they're a shooter, a slasher, a guard, a big that likes back to the basket, or a stretch four. They're going to start to figure those pieces out when they're 6th grade, because that's when they're 12 years old, right? Then 13, 14, they kind of, build from there. And then obviously next step is high school. I say by 6th grade, we got to get this figured out. And that's if you want to take this serious or not. A few years ago, pre-COVID, I could tell them, okay, 8th grade year, you can still have a little bit of fun. Now, nah, just can't do it because
more intense. It's more intense. And more cutthroat.
Yes.
Like this was an interesting fact. Just I saw this is one guy I've been watching on my IG. Light-skinned cat too, just like us, right? But he talks a lot about AAU and stuff. And he just makes these little quick segments talking about it. I think it's Real Academy or Rail Academy, whatever it was. And but it was an interesting statistic he brought up that I also researched myself. Is the average age right now in the Division I tournament is 23.
Wow,
it's the average age right now.
That's crazy.
Man.
In this March Madness tournament is 23.
23.
Yeah.
That means like probably some of the youngest guys are like 20, 21, and that's not like all 20. All of them are seniors.
Look at that same stat 4 years ago. It's probably 19, 18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, whoa, 23. So everyone's getting older, right? Everyone's getting older. So then that circles back to the reclass situation, right? Like, do we reclass our kids? And again, I'm a mixed bag on this. This is how I feel. My overall take on reclass, and I've spoke on it many times. I don't think it should be a go-to thing for 8th grade and below. Like 8th grade and below, okay, if you do it 1 year, okay, you do it, fine, whatever, which I'm okay with. But when I'm seeing people do it for 2 years, I've even seen some kids 3 years reclass. You're a 16-year-old in the 8th grade. That's too much. And then, then of course, the rebuttal or playing devil's advocate on the other side. They're like, well, in high school, kids reclass. Well, this is the difference to me in high school. It's varsity. It's all varsity. Whether you're a 15-year-old on varsity or a 19-year-old on varsity, you're all varsity players. Sorry to tell you. Just like when we're in college, when I step on that court and I'm a 19-year-old and the senior I'm going against is 22 years old, it is what it is. It all regulates by them. But this is where I say, for those who make this counter argument, is you're making a disingenuous argument. And this is my last take on it, right? Mm-hmm. Is it's a false equivalent. You can't say a 19-year-old going against a 17-year-old is the same as a 16-year-old going against a 14-year-old. Those bodies are way different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very different. Yeah. That's the argument some people might say to me back. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate for people who actually, like you said, listen to the show and they're like, Chris, I don't agree with this point. I've had people DM me, right? So I tell them, okay, look, you can't say there's no difference between, again, let's use a 15-year-old going against a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old going against a 15-year-old. The bodies are very different. Like, you can see the difference. I'm sure you see it in your son. His body was probably very different from 13 than when he was 16.
Facts. Yeah.
Now imagine they're both in the 8th grade. Right. It's just no comparison to me.
Yeah, it's an unfair. Well, it's not unfair. That's an unfair advantage. But this is my take on it. I don't really know. Back in our day, nobody reclassified.
Yeah, nobody.
Nate Garr, shout out to Nate Garr, dominate. He's probably the only one that I know that reclassified.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Back in our day, like nobody did it. That was it was an unheard of thing.
Yeah.
But nowadays, everybody does it. It's so common. So I wish I reclassified. I wish my son reclassified.
Right? I know,
you know what I mean? Like I was 17 years old starting in college basketball. 17
crazy.
Years old. I was 21 years old as a senior in college basketball. You know what I'm saying? On my way out.
Yeah.
Like, I see that nowadays. There's it's
like,
funny.
imagine if you could have been 19 as a freshman or 20 as a freshman.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm on my way out. I'm a senior starting, 21 years old. I'm playing heavy minutes, Division I.
Right.
Like I could have been doing this when I could be a sophomore right now doing this. Like what? Got 2 more years here. Get my master's degree too on the other side too. Like there's a lot of benefits to it.
Right.
Even red shirting, gray shirting. There's a lot of benefits to that stuff. But me myself, I always wanted. I was a hooper. Like I don't care how old I am. I don't care who I'm going against. I'm ready to play now. I could never see myself sitting a year out back in my day when I was younger, or red shirt and gray shirt and reclassifying. Like if I was in the 8th grade, I'm ready for 9th grade. I want to go play the 9th grade kids now.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You have any thoughts on this one?
No, man. It's like I said, just I've seen a couple of my players who've either red-shirted, gray-shirted, and I'm just like, damn, like you about to be hella old next year.
But why not take
Yeah.
advantage
I know,
of it?
right?
Let your body develop
Yeah.
bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
You know, back
Yeah.
in the day,
Why not?
in the day, used to be like, "Oh, you're the old guy at college." Now,
So?
shit, everybody's old.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
punk
I'm
you
grown-
now.
Exactly.
Watch this grown man strength I got on you for my 2 years of hitting these
Exactly.
I saw Memphis, Penny Hardaway got like a 27-year-old dude on his
Wow.
or 26.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
But I mean, that's the air we live in, and you know, at the end of the day, it's we can't forget, and this is even what I've had to talk to kids about when it comes to colleges. I say, you guys got to understand, higher education institutions are businesses.
Yeah. Oh,
they have a
facts.
dollar amount. They are a business. Like, it's the business of higher learning, just like my AAU organization here. I'm in the business of AAU basketball. It doesn't mean there's no emotional components and that I don't care about the kids and everybody's a dollar sign. No, that's again, you're trying to look at everything black and white. There's a gray area to this. But at the end of the day, this building that I'm very blessed to have and be in with Kenji and all the other coaches and stuff, we got to pay rent. You know what I mean? We have to pay rent. So that's part of the thought process that goes into a lot of this. So I tell the kids, it's a business. The coaches are going to have to adjust to the business in order to win, right? Yeah. The institutions have to adjust. And that's where it's become the hierarchy of recruitment in terms of basically goes the transfer portal, I would say JUCO next, prep school, then high school. High school kids are bottom of the totem pole right now.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, that's what I tell my players too. It's like at this point, every little thing matters. Like I have one kid, he's not doing very good in the interview process, and like they want to see you. They want to. You gotta know, because it's like, I don't want to say it. It's not life and death. It's not that extreme, but the time we're in right now to get a scholarship,
it's make or break.
To get to college, it's make or break. You can always go another route, but if you have these colleges looking at you and interested in you, you got to give it your all. You got to put your foots forward and let them know that you want to be here, because those opportunities are very slim. You know what I mean? Those opportunities are very, very slim.
Yeah.
And what's messed up too is I just saw this video where this guy was talking about he was playing with Coach Pitino and he really wanted to play with Coach Pitino out of high school, and he got that scholarship, and then when he played with Coach Pitino, like, he didn't play good that year, and Coach Pitino in the exit meeting told him, like, I'm bringing in a JUCO kid. You're gonna have to find another school. Damn. And I feel like, again, I'm just going off that story. I know that happens a lot.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You think they're not giving out 4-year scholarships no more.
Not.
They're 1 year. Your scholarships
Yes.
are every year after your scholarship.
Yes.
You got to go meet with the coach, and they got to
Exactly.
renew your scholarship every year.
Yeah.
And then this is what I was gonna say too. Like those scholarships, this is what I tell my kids too. Those are investments. They're investing in you.
Yes.
Like kids don't understand, and I didn't understand either when I'm 17 years
Right,
old,
of course,
18 years
of
old.
course.
But these schools are literally saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you $50,000.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to give you $45,000,
Right.
$40,000 to come
Exactly.
to my school and play basketball."
Right. And we'll
like,
feed
kids,
you, we'll
kids don't
house
understand
you,
that.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
No,
like, feed
they
you,
don't.
house you. So you now represent their school. You represent their program. We gave you, like, put it in money terms. Like,
Right.
I'm a businessman, so
Right,
it's easy,
right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
of
But
course.
we give you $50,000 to come do this task, and you want to half-ass it. You want to show up late to practice and not give me your all and give me your hardest.
Yeah.
When I got 100 other kids over here that want this same $50,000. How many people want $50,000? Just raise your hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants $50,000 to go play basketball. I'll
Right.
take that right now. I'm 35 years old. You give me $50,000 to go play
Well,
basketball, I'll take it.
Here's even the other side of it. Now with the NIL deals, now the kids can actually make money while they're in college. Wish we had that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know.
Well, I wish I had social media. I was a hot
Right,
flyer.
right,
Like, I'd
right.
be- I think I'd be
Exactly,
famous right now. I'd
exactly.
be YouTube famous.
You know
with
what
my
I'm saying?
dunks.
Like, man, if social media was around, bro, like, I'm like, now y'all can actually make money
Right.
while you're in school and
Right.
it not get you kicked out
We
of
used
the
to get in
school and
trouble.
all that.
Right.
Yeah.
We used to get in trouble. You would lose your scholarship. You
That's
would lose your.
like, oh,
if
man.
if we took $1, you would lose your scholarship.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So, you know, times have changed, things are shifting, we're adapting, we're learning, you know, in this basketball climate is definitely seen a lot. What I would, well, that kind of segues me to my next thing is, with you being on the high school side, right? You really seeing the, you know, really getting the sense of the politics of it all, the sense with the community, the parents, the things like that. I mean, again, you don't have to get in super detail, but what if someone wanted to say to you, hey, I'm thinking of being a varsity coach, right? This being your first year and everything, what would you tell that person, you know, the good, the bad, what to look for, what not to look for? Just a quick general synopsis of all that.
That's funny. Like, okay, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. I was so overwhelmed. Like, I know basketball like the back of my hand. I thought I was signing up to be a basketball coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm a basketball coach. I know basketball. Leave me alone. I'm here to coach the kids. This is my schedule. Yeah, like literally, this is what I thought I was going to do. I was going to come in, open the gym, teach basketball, close the gym, kids go home. Like, nah, man, it's way more than that. It's so much politics. It's so much like, and I don't care about power. Like, I've already had my business. I've already raised my kids. I already did that. I don't care about power. I've had power. I don't care about it. But a lot of people like fight for power and they want power. A lot of people want credit. I don't care about credit either. One of my boys was like, oh man, one of my guys is trying to take all the credit. I said, I don't care.
Right.
Like, and this is way back in the summertime because we started getting good in the summertime. Oh, he wants all the credit. He's telling everybody around Sacramento that he's doing this and he's doing that.
Good for him.
I said, I don't care. And like all that stuff gets back to me too. I hear people talking behind my back, oh, he's not that good of a coach. Sac High would have won without him. I would have took the team here. I would have took the team there. Okay, I don't care nothing about that. I did what I did. If you're better than me, great job to you. I'm here. I did what I did. I'm living my own path.
You did it. They talk about what they could have done.
Exactly. I'm living my own path. But like, I just wasn't ready for all the politics. I wasn't ready for all the power, but the credit and all the credit, people wanting credit. And I told everybody, I said, hey, if we win the championship, I'm going to get my credit. Yeah. Like, I got a great story to tell. First year coach, I just like that story writes itself. I don't care about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but all these things are going around and swirling around. And I see why programs crumble. You know what I mean? I see why. Like, because we almost crumbled 3 or 4 times this year. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I've always had a good feel for my team and felt what's going on, a good feel for the locker room. But, like, politics, a lot of different things without throwing anybody under the bus. Parents, politics, like a lot of things can come in and mess up other coaches, coaches wanting, so things can come in and derail a team and derail a program and derail a culture because like you said at first, like when you start thinking about yourself, when you start thinking about the money value, when you start thinking about all these things that aren't pure, they're not about basketball or the boys, then what's the point? Why are we even having this conversation? Like, and it's the same thing with being a parent. People are like, how do you co-parent so well? How do you and your baby mom get along so well? And
like I'm taking care of my kids.
It's simple. You put the kids first.
Right.
You put the kids first. You see what I'm saying? And everything else falls in line. Like, what's the pecking order? What's best for the kids? Okay, and then we'll see what's best for everybody else. And it's the same thing with the coaching thing and the team. Like, what's best for the team? And then everything else falls in line. But everybody else tries to fight that pecking order. They want to put themselves first. They want to put their needs first. They want to put their boys first. They want to put their favorites first. And it's like, man, like everybody just let the order be and everything will be fine. So I wasn't ready. I actually got pretty overwhelmed. Like I went at a couple, yelled at a couple admin, you know what I mean? Like yelled at a couple parents.
Right. Yeah. So you were Mark Jackson basically.
I wasn't ready. And then I had to catch myself because like, my coaching staff, they're all on me and they check me and they're my best friends. So they check me, they can tell me when I'm wrong, and they're like, bro, this is the job you signed up for. Like they have a right to ask you these questions. And then I had to take a step back. Like the admins had a right to ask me these things. The parents have a right to ask me these things. So I was like, I had to take a step back and check myself because again, I thought I was just a basketball coach, but you're not just a basketball coach. You're the head of this. You're an ambassador. Yeah, no, really. Yeah. So I had to put that hat on. And once I put that hat on, everything became pretty smooth. I had a meeting with all the parents and I basically told them, which I don't know if I'm going to do this again. But I basically told them like, hey, I'm an open book. Here's my number. Call me, text me anytime.
Oh, they'll do that.
Man.
Worst thing you could have did.
I'm walking out the gym as we're winning a ball game. You know what I mean? And I get these long texts. I'm like,
my son feels he is a really good and he can contribute.
Enjoy the win tonight. Right. You know what I mean? Like, geez. And it wasn't just one, like, that's what I always feel like. I feel like this is what I equated to, like we had a demon on our team and it literally bounced from person to person and admin to admin or parent to parent. Like we had a demon swirling around our team. And then once we exercise that demon out of somebody, it jumps to the next person because now this person's mad at their playing time. And once we deal with that, now you're mad you're not getting enough shots.
That is a very accurate analogy.
Now your dad is mad that you're not playing enough. Once we do it, now the admins are mad and it's like, man, that thing just swirled around and you keep having to tame it. You keep having to fight it.
When you won sections, did they at least get for a day or two?
No, right away. Hey, why didn't my son do this? Or but I love having communications with my kids, and like when they text me, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
kids, yes, because you have the relationship with them.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. You want to know what you can do better? I'll talk to you all day, all night. Call me or anything like that. It kind of rubs me the wrong way coming from the parents. It rubs me the wrong way coming from the admin, just because like y'all don't trust me.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is before I was a champion. Now I'm a champion.
Yeah.
Right. Now they actually relax, man.
Yeah.
And these are adults.
Yeah,
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's
bro,
crazy.
What would
Like-
you say, like, so just like listening, and that was why when that COVID year, I was like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? I like being in the gym with the kids, private one-on-one. But so going into, just year 2, after what you just said, you were overwhelmed. What are you going to adjust? What are you going to change to keep your sanity going into year 2 and just moving on for your career to deal with those things? And still, like you said, you did what you did after this first year, overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming going into year 2, adjusting those things, you know what I'm saying? What have you thought about that? Are you still like thinking about, what you just did this year? Or have you even thought about going into next year?
I'm already on next year. I'm already on next. That's everybody else celebrates it still.
Yeah.
I'm already on to the past. I'm trying to get. I'm kind of disappointed that we should have won state. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at. Everybody else is saying good job, and I'm disappointed. I'm already on to next year. But next year, like, basically. So a lot of the overwhelmed feeling, it came from my insecurities and lack of confidence. You know what I mean? Like these people telling me these things and planting these seeds in my head, and now I'm thinking in my head like, oh, should I have did that? Should I have called that timeout? Should I have made that sub? Did I sub him out too early? Like a lot of insecurities, unsure of myself, because again, I don't have a lot of experience coaching. Chris got way more experience coaching than me, and way of different platforms and levels, and girls and boys, all different age
but
groups.
you've always had a great voice to the kids,
right?
And that's I think when I saw you at Hardwood, and when we talked about be mindful of the AAU stuff, right? When you're a high school coach, because people always got you under a microscope. But I think I remember telling you specifically, I said, you're going to do fine. Yeah. Like, I think I remember, dapping you up and said, and I said, you're going to do just fine, because you have a good pulse and a good voice. You know what I mean? And people don't understand how valuable that is as a trainer, as a coach. If you have the right voice, I mean, you have the pedigree to back it up, for one. Let's just put that out there. You played at a high level, so that's one. But take that out. You have the right voice and the right charisma and the right attitude that I knew you'd be successful, man. I knew you'd be successful.
And to answer the question, like, that's what I got. My boys reassured me. They gave me confidence. They let me know, like, hey, basically in short, like, you are who you were, Matt Johnson, bro. You got this. Who's better for you at this job than Sac High than you, bro? You know what I mean? Like, name somebody else. I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, maybe Kevin Galloway. You know, I'm trying to think of people, and I'm like, I don't know. I am the man for the job. So they gave me more confidence. But going into this next season, and yes, success brings confidence, but more importantly, like, I feel like I built a program, because one of my friends / critics said that Sac High is never going to be good. We're never going to build a program. They don't care about winning. You know what I mean? Because when they hired me, they don't care about winning. We're never going to build a program. And I thought about that, and I'm like, that's deep, because I don't just want to win ball games. I do want to build a program.
Yes.
I know what it takes to build a program. It's kind of like raising a family,
right?
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And it's like, I know what it takes. I know what these steps are, and I know I can build this program. So now to have success after year 1 and just know that we're on the right track and going in the right direction, it gives me so much confidence and sure of myself. And also it lets me know, like, get religious. I'm in the right spot. You know what I mean? I'm walking in my light. And when you walk in your light, what's going to stop you? You know what I'm saying? Like, not no hater, not no nothing else. Just keep being the man I am, keep walking in my light, and good things will come. So that's really how I feel. So going into year 2, man, sky's the limit. I can't wait.
That's exciting.
No, that is good. I mean, well, obviously, yes, like you said, you want to win state. I mean, don't get me wrong. I knew you'd be successful. I didn't know you'd win sections. I was like, dang. I said, dang, all right, Matt, look at him go. No, I wanted to talk about that video reaction. When your boy shot it at half court.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy. Because overtime, he had a video of his team that went viral.
Yeah. Really? We got like 2 million views.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was just curious if your thought, because for one, Did y'all plan that?
Yeah.
You planned that?
planned
That's
it.
crazy. Okay,
way.
bro, you got to check this
so what's
video out
funny-
when you get a chance.
Yeah, what's funny is I read all the comments on like Ball is Live
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Sports Center. I read all the comments.
Yeah.
They're like, that coach is the idiot. What coach let their players do that? Oh, you better sub him out. You better bench him. They were just
Right.
ripping me, right? And
Right.
I went on one night and I responded to a few of them.
Of course, you
what I
can't
mean?
help it.
And I'm
Trust-
like, hey, we're
Dude.
playing in the championship game tomorrow. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah.
Like, just like going back at them.
You can't help it, bro.
trolls. Yeah.
Believe me.
But no, what's funny is like, so that's my senior mic, you know what I mean? And all year that was senior night. So this is the backstory that people don't know. So all year it was senior night, and then all year long he was like, I'm gonna shoot a half court shot, coach. I'm gonna shoot a half court shot. Like, I'm gonna take you out. You don't shoot no half court shot. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, no, I'm a basketball purist. We don't shoot
Right,
half
right.
court shots. We don't shoot step back threes. We don't
Right,
shoot half
right,
court
right.
shots. Like, and then like it was like a week before the practice, like, and he's practicing it. We'll, like, water break. He's like, coach, watch this, and he'll shoot a half court shot every day. Coach, watch, and he shoots a pretty good percentage from half
That's
court.
crazy.
Yeah, he got range, so he's just, and he flicks it. If you see it, he flicks it like a normal. She's lefty. He flicks it like he's not like pushing it or throwing it.
right.
He's shooting that thing. So then like a week before, like we're having success, things are going good. Like I'm real big on team chemistry and team camaraderie and making the boys feel good. You know, you feel good. You want to come to practice. Like let's
Right.
make it a little bit fun. Like our practices were loose, were fun. I'm a fun guy. But he so a week before the game, I was like, okay, you can shoot a half court shot.
Damn,
And he's like, will you take me out? I was like, no. I was like, you better make it though. He's like, if I miss it, will you take me out? And I was like, no. Like, shoot a half court shot, have fun. That's what
That's
you want
what's
to do.
up.
It's your
That's
senior
nice,
night.
man.
So
That's
then
what's up.
like they literally spent like time in practice going over their
Go over
routine.
that routine.
He gets the ball, he puts it through his legs, and he shoots it from half
What?
court.
That's
And then we
dope.
did it on senior night. And like this season was so magical, and I don't know what it was like. You know, I don't know what it was, but we were blessed. We were favored. This team, there was something else with this team.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for him to make that half court shot, like, it was so storybook. It's so storybook for it to go
It was
viral.
and then it was
That
off
gave
the
me
tip.
chills.
That's why it
Yeah,
was so
first
viral.
play of the game.
It was
Yeah.
the first. It was off the tip.
First play of the game,
So
he
the kid
tipped it.
tips it, and who was it? Kendall
Bobby gets
he
it,
caught it, and then
Throws it through his legs
Yeah.
to Mike. Mike gets it and then
And
shoots a half
shoots
court
it,
shot.
and it goes in.
All net. On
First
senior,
three of the
on
game.
senior night. The crowd goes crazy. We end up winning the game by 40 points.
Yeah.
Like, there was so much. That was one of our best games because the boys were so hyped, so much energy. And then it's just like,
and that video went
Yeah.
I'm
viral.
about to look that up after
Yeah,
the show.
man, that video went viral. I was just, I had to ask. I was
Yeah.
like, "There's no way." I said, I saw that.
I had no idea he was gonna make it, and he splashed it all
Yeah,
net,
all
and
net.
he threw up his hand like he knew what he was doing. I'm like, what is this? Like, it was crazy.
I feel
And
like-
then, yeah,
I feel like listening to that, I remember Kobe in this video talking about when he was young, when his dad told him, he was like, I don't care if you fail, I'm going to love you anyway. I feel like
Right.
for you to tell a kid, you know, yes, you're a basketball purist, but you understood
Yeah.
the bigger picture of letting the kid know that, yes, you can take the shot. I'm not going to take you out.
And you trust him.
And
No,
you
right.
trusted him, regardless if he would have made the shot or not. His confidence is up high compared to
Exactly.
any other kid just trying to take a half court shot.
Yeah.
like
So-
we're all ball players.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
of the biggest things is confidence. Like when
Yeah.
you're on a short leash and you know if you make a
Yes.
mistake, the coach is going to take you
Yeah.
out. Then it's hard to perform and
Yeah.
it's hard to play. But if you know the coach trusts you, if you know the coach has your back, if you can play free
Yeah.
and play loose and not think so much and just
Yeah.
like good things will happen. So I
Yes.
wanted to speak that confidence into him and let him know like, go ahead, shoot it. You know
That's
what I mean?
dope. That's
I
dope.
didn't know he was going to make it.
Right, I know that's
That's
crazy.
crazy,
Yeah, you got to
man.
check that video out,
About
man.
to. That's
I
amazing.
couldn't believe because I saw it. And I was like, that looks like Sac High, and it was. I was like, oh damn.
And then for it to go viral too, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel like it deserves to go viral.
Right,
Like, I didn't-
right. That was
I
crazy.
ain't seen that too many times.
That was
but-
crazy.
What,
No.
a,
was cool.
what a year.
Yeah, exactly.
that's-
I know all that happened
Yeah.
too.
See,
Like,
this is why I
wow.
had to have him on the show. I was
That's
like,
crazy, man.
and then I wanted to talk about your docuseries a little bit, and then I wanted to do a video reaction, a couple closing words, and we'll get out of here, right? So your docuseries, obviously, again, you had a great year, and it should be fun to watch. Like, what's the message you're trying to convey in that? Because like I did my little YouTube docuseries, and what I was trying to convey is how AAU works, how this machine, works, and how it can benefit kids, and in the relationships and things you build. What's the message you want to get out there for your series?
Well, I mean, honestly, just to be honest, we didn't start with a message. We just started because we felt like we had something special brewing. You know what I mean? We felt something special brewing. Like we're first year coaches at our old school. Like like I said, the story writes itself. But we started having success. We're making game-winning shots. We made so many game-winning shots, like at the buzzer, and the crowd runs onto the and it's all on video and stuff because we did a really good job. Like my business side's coming out, but it takes money to make money.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I spent a lot of money out of my own pocket on this team,
You're
whether
investing.
it be hiring a cameraman to come shoot our boys, or hiring a videographer, or hiring somebody to come out here, Simply Basketball, to make a video of my boys, just to go out there and go look good, to promote them, because it was important to get our name out there and be seen, because we were doing some amazing things. So then BMR hit us up, shout out to BMR, and he started coming and doing our films with us, and then we were just like, hey, this is really good stuff. You know what I mean? They started filming me my pregame speeches. I give really good, passionate pregame speeches. I always feel like I'm like, Troy, he's on what, the movie Troy.
Yeah.
They're on the boat and he's like giving his speech. That's what I always feel like when I give my pregame speech. Like, we're going to battle. So they're passionate, and they started recording my pregame speeches. And then they're like, this is something good. Like, let's make a documentary. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I hit you up. We talked. I watched your documentary. I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is
just
something
be
I can
yourself.
do. So, yeah, basically, I just want to show people behind the scenes. Well, number one, I guess the number one thing would be to promote my boys. Like, that's how it started. I want to promote my boys. I want to give them as many eyes and opportunities on them to see. If you see one of my boys, if you see Kendall windmilling in the documentary, or you see him windmilling on Simply Basketball, and the college coach says, hey, I like that kid, which has happened. You know what I mean? Like, so they hit me up. Now we build a relationship. Like, that's how it goes. So it started for them, but then also, like, I just feel like we do things the right way. Like you guys said, we work hard. You know what I mean? We work hard at Sac High, and a lot of people got away from working hard. They get away from doing things, quote unquote, the right way. They want to take shortcuts in life. And I'm just not a person who takes shortcuts. Like, I go the long route. And I said it the other day, when you go the long route, you get a better understanding of your everything, because you get time to soak everything in, and you internalize it, you maximize it, you understand it. So that's how we did it. And then for us to have success and win a championship, I don't know, maybe other people can watch it and be like, oh, let me start doing things the right way and not take shortcuts, and let me work hard because they worked hard, and it takes hard work to win a championship. You can't just wake up out of bed and go and win a championship. You got to grind, you got to sacrifice. So I feel like, I don't know. We don't have no real true message for it. It was kind of just fun. It was kind of just for fun to promote my boys and have fun, but it was pretty cool. But my main thing was just to get their names out there and hype them up.
That's dope.
That's very cool, man. I want to do a quick video reaction, because this is a YouTuber I actually like watching this stuff. He makes like these little basketball documentary things, and make sure let me get past this ad, but he does some great stuff. So I wanted you guys to kind of listen to this, because I think it's an interesting topic, because obviously we mainly deal in the youth sports, and it's mainly talking about injuries, NBA injuries, especially this year, because it's gotten pretty crazy. So shout out to JX My High Roller. That's his YouTube name, but no, I watch a lot of his stuff. So I wanted you guys to listen to it, maybe give me your takes on it, because again, it segues into all of our worlds, the AAU, the training, and the youth basketball side, right? So here.
Well, real quick, I think it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know who's watching or if you guys are going to watch, but it's pretty cool. There's three good minds here. You got a trainer mind, you got an AAU mind, you got a head coach basketball mind.
Man.
So even when we answer our answers, you're answering from a trainer's perspective, you're answering from AAU, and I'm answering from a head coach, and they're all different. If you guys, because I'm all about team ball,
right?
He's about developing the individual, and he's about showcasing.
There you go. Exactly.
Gems.
That's what I'm trying to teach these people. Let me see.
What do Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, LaMelo Ball, Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Zion Williamson, and these 78 other players have in common? I'll give you a second to think about it. There's a lot of guys here, different teams and situations. It's injuries. All 88 of these players are either out or day-to-day due to injuries. NBA players just can't stay healthy. And no longer is it just the notoriously injury-prone players being sidelined. It seems like no one can avoid both small and severe injuries. And the weirdest part is that no one can figure out why. Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek, with Ender to play every single game. In fact, that same season, Kevin Garnett didn't miss a play all 82 regular season games that year. Looking back, this seems like an extraordinary feat for an aging legend. But 20 years ago, it was fairly standard to play every single game. In fact, that same season, Kevin Garnett didn't miss a single game. Kobe Bryant didn't miss a game. Steve Nash didn't. Neither did Allen Iverson or Stephon Marbury. Even the 7'6" Yao Ming played all 82 games.
Just so you guys get context, he was talking about 2003.
Okay.
That was 2003 with MJ's last year with the Wizards.
Oh, so
right?
I know all about this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's you guys you'll get where he's going with it.
Season. Fast forward 20 years, and in a league where injuries and load management have ran rampant, there is only one all-star level player who hasn't missed a single game all season. But this is just the tip of the injury-riddled iceberg, because this season there are only 12 players who haven't missed a single game. 20 years ago, there were 46 players who didn't miss a single game all season. What's going on here? Why can't NBA players stay on the court? With advancements in training, nutrition, recovery, the amount of money these players are spending on their bodies, the world-class facilities and staff to keep them in impeccable condition, how are these players incapable of staying healthy? Well, we have some theories, but I'm not sure if anyone has an answer. There are currently 88 players throughout the NBA listed as out or day-to-day due to injuries.
Crazy.
That is 20% of the entire league sidelined because of injuries.
Crazy.
Over the last week, videos have surfaced from around the league of multiple players getting injured in the middle of their pregame warm-ups, which has only shined an even brighter light on this issue that has been getting worse and worse each season. NBA players just can't stay healthy. And no one knows why. Despite the vast research and studies that have been poured into uncovering exactly why NBA players just can't stay healthy, there doesn't seem to be any clear-cut answer. Some factors point to the cumulative amount of wear and tear pro athletes today have gone through by the time they're in their mid-20s. Some studies have pointed towards the increase of dynamic in-game movements as the main culprit. But at most, these are just theories. Legendary NBA trainer Tim Grover, who worked with the likes of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade, attributes many injuries in the NBA today to simply not enough weightlifting. As players have shifted more and more towards sport-specific workouts and movements, their bodies have almost become unfamiliar with simple things like repetitive body weight impact and quick changes in momentum.
You build a foundation by lifting weights. You have so much more resources, less contact, and more injuries. It's mind-boggling to me. It's because everything is rubber band, everything is resistance, everything is cable. When you get hit, when you jump, when you land, there's no pulleys, there's no cables. Your body weight is the metal. You have to learn how to explode with it, and you also need to learn how to land with it and how to stop it. And that's what metal does. It teaches you to lift it, but it also teaches you to put it down. Accelerate, decelerate.
Grover.
There's a little other section. Paul George had an interesting take, but I was curious of you guys' thoughts on that so far with because I remember lifting weights a lot.
Sure.
So I honestly think there's some truth to that because I do know kids don't lift as much. You know what I mean?
I believe in all the weight stuff, but in my opinion, if you're talking about how it was back in 2003 or even back when Michael Jordan then played, I feel like AAU was a big part of that.
I was going to say
how
that.
many games
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Kids are Michael
5,
Jordan,
6,
Kobe,
7 games a day.
Yeah, and that's catching up to a lot of the kids now who are in the NBA where, like they're it's catching up, you know,
Yes.
the mileage. So I think it's just it's the amount of. I was watching. Have you guys seen King Richard?
King Richard.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
how Serena Venus Williams' dad, where he didn't want them to be playing in all those national tournaments.
Yep.
He just wanted them to be kids, train,
Yep.
still go to school, and wait at a certain age for them to start competing. I feel like
they
it's
don't
the same,
burn out.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yes.
like it's the same thing with basketball. And you know, with basketball in AAU, man, these kids are playing like 7 games.
Man, I had a kid, one of my 6th graders, and shout out to Nico, I love you to death, kid. But you play too many damn games. He was on 3 teams. He played 10 games last weekend.
Wow.
No.
That's
and
too many.
And I said, what? He said, yeah, coach, it's like my 10th game. I said, Nico, don't do that
Go
again.
sit down. Yeah.
I said, don't do that again. Like, are you kidding me?
That's not healthy.
You know what I mean? Like,
And you're not playing at your top level if you can play 10 games.
and he's
in one
12.
day. Yeah.
12. I said, come on, man. I said, listen, unless you're sitting the bench 9 games and really actually playing in one, like, I don't, like, what are you doing? Because he's one of my star 6th grade players, so I know he's playing like a lot. And I'm like, come on, man, you can't do that to yourself. So, you know, no, I do attribute some of this as well, and I also found that interesting take. They were saying now the body mechanics are more dynamic currently now than possibly they were back then, and there's some validity to that because, you know, the small ball era, the positionless basketball era, you got guys like the Joel Embiids and, you know, the Giannis's, the 7-foot, you know, can jump out the gym and just move and explode in ways that, you know, typically our big guys couldn't do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that all attributes a factor. But I just wanted to pause it. Like, I want to get to the Paul George section. Go ahead.
So all that stuff is true. But I just think they're soft.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Get that out.
It's true. Like, you have to lift weights. You have to take care. We are oversaturated. We're playing too many games. But when it comes down to it, I broke my finger on the court and I kept playing. Yeah. You know what I mean? I played with so many injuries.
You on that to a
Kobe
degree.
Bryant played with so many injuries. No, to a degree, right? To a degree. But the way I look at it now is like everything's softer nowadays. People don't want to play through an injury. So if I hurt my finger, I'm going to sit out and rest my finger so my finger doesn't look like this when I'm older. You know what I mean? So I'm going to sit out 2-3 weeks so my finger doesn't look like this. I said, who cares about this finger? I'm going to play basketball. I'm not sitting out 2 or 3 weeks for my pinky finger.
That is different. You're right. We're different. We were built different in that era.
I'm playing. I don't care if I'm playing at the park. I'm not 24-hour fitness. I don't care where I'm at. I was in college basketball. But still, like, I'm not missing anything for an injury. My ankle hurts, I'm going to tape it up. Right. You know what I mean? My wrist hurts, I'm going to tape it up, and then we're going to go play. Yeah. And injuries and hurting are 2 different things. If you're injured, go sit down.
Right.
You know what I mean? By all means, and go get help.
But pain,
we played through pain.
Yeah, you're right.
But in the NBA nowadays, like, okay, and then this is the business side of things. I'm giving you $100 million when I used to only give you $5 million. Yes. I'm giving you $100 million, and your pinky's hurting, go sit down, bro, because that pinky's worth $100 million. So go sit down.
Exactly.
It's a business side of things. And then also,
go ahead.
On the flip side is like, look at LeBron James, and I respect LeBron James so much, right? So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a Michael Jordan who burns out and he reaches these peaks that we've never seen before, 6 championships in 6 years, but he got burned out, and he didn't reach he didn't have the longevity that LeBron had because LeBron load managed. Lebron sits out. LeBron plays 60 games a year.
He invested in his body.
But now because he's playing 60 games a year, he can play 20 years at a high level. So which would you have?
Right.
That ultimate peak or that longevity? You know what I mean? So that's kind of the debate.
Well, and of course, like they were saying, there's really no clear-cut answer. They can't even the NBA's analysts. They're like, we can't figure it. There is no answer. There's theories, right? I think what all 3 of us kind of have alluded to is all accurate. I do think it's a combination of kids are softer. I do think it's a combination of the movements. I do think it's a combination of kids need to lift and don't lift as much. It's a combination of all of it. I hate to say it. And of course, like what you say, Mark, a lot of the kids just play a lot too much games, like too many games. And I try to tell even my parents, this is what I tell them. I say, listen, each kid needs like 2 teams at the most, 2 teams. You can have one that is like for my 6th grade, I have a really, really, really good 6th grade group. I mean, we're talking like national level 6th grade group. It is pretty unreal how good this team is. It's scary good. Now, again, I don't know what that means for their longevity, but this is what I tell their parents. I say, okay, this should be their main priority, high-level team, because they all have their roles. They know how to play it. They're playing at high level. Then they have a secondary team that isn't as talented where they're more the man, right? So they can expand their game, work on things. That's what we call like their local team, right? That's your local hardwood team. I'm your travel elite team, and that's all you need. You know what I mean? But, you know, some of these kids and some of these parents, I mean, they're doing like the feeder high school team. They're doing their local team. They're doing a rec team. They're doing their travel team with me. They go to their trainers. They go to and I'm like, okay, you're doing too much, kid. I'm like, and you're 10, you're 11, you know, like I try to tell parents and kids find a balance, but I think it's all culminating in a lot of injuries. It really is. It's just they're obviously taking it to the NBA level.
Right.
But what I'm saying is
it all trickles down.
It does, right? Because now you're going to end up with high school kids getting injured. You know what I mean? You're going to end up with college guys getting hurt, So it was an interesting take. I want to get to the Paul George part because I really liked what he said. He was on a podcast and he was talking about his side of it. Let me see if I get to it.
Shit, he just got injured too.
Yeah, he just got injured. Yeah. Let me see. Get past this ad.
They said he's going to be out the first round too, huh?
Man,
Yeah.
that injury looks scary.
I hope the Kings
Start like this so many times before they shut down. Years ago, the NBA just wasn't played at this speed, and the off-ball movement and spacing wasn't nearly this complex. But what do the players think? I mean, they are the ones experiencing this influx in injuries after all. Well, just a couple weeks ago, Paul George touched on the subject in an interview with JJ Redick and stated that players are getting injured more now than before because they don't practice enough. Which sounds counterintuitive, but his reasoning makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, they're like teams don't really practice. We're not getting up and down. There's just it's a lost art when it comes to that hard practicing. And I think that's why there's so many injuries that's going on because guys that have a high-low day and then a completely off day and then a high-low day, back then it was you practice hard, you got a game. You practice hard, you got a game. Then you might have a day off. Then you come right back to it. So I feel like your body just built the callus and that you were prepared for a long and rough season to where injuries there wasn't that many injuries. There wasn't time to take a load off because you felt good to play. You know what I mean? It's almost the reverse. They think by giving us time off, it's helped managing our bodies. But in honesty, I think it's just making us weaker as players without putting that load and strain to our bodies.
And Paul George might be correct, but the increase of players who simply cannot stay on the court is a steady trend that's been going on for decades now. Back in 2000, Dr. Chad Starkey of Northeastern...
So that was my...
That's an interesting take, and it definitely applies to the NBA because those guys don't go hard and practice hard in the NBA at all, especially on their off days. So that's really interesting to think about that, especially like he said, like you go hard and then you do nothing and then you do nothing and then you go hard. Like you can't have those up and downs. You have to have that consistency. Wow, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it makes me think back to why am I not thinking this man's name? Not D'Antoni. Hard-nosed coach. He was with the Bulls for a while when Derrick Rose was there. Why am I not thinking? Thibodeau. Yeah. He's known as that, push you to the wall. Where those coaches are gone, right? Because everybody complained about Stan Van Gundy, right? They're like, he's too hard, he's too mean. It became that kind of culture. So those guys were like, what? Because I'm telling you, run suicides. Like now, all of a sudden, that's too hard for you.
Now
like
grueling.
Right? Yeah. What you did in high school, like that's gone the way that's gone. Honestly,
well, it's a thin line too now because now we're thinking about the investments. We're thinking about think about those Bulls teams. Derrick Rose broke down. Those Bulls teams broke down. And Thibodeau's teams have a history of breaking down in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's the seasons are so like Paul George was saying like. Man, I don't want to practice 82 games. Yeah. And if I'm a player, I got 82 games, plus I got to practice hard every single. Like, I don't want that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's a long, grueling season, but you do have to practice hard. You do have to sprinkle those in there, and you do have to give the guys days off, so you have to manage that. But it's a long season.
That's why I'm glad I'm not an NBA coach.
No,
I
for real.
Figure that shit
and
out.
I don't even know. Like, I wanted to go to the NBA, but when you look back, we played 30 games in college and high school. They're playing 82. That's
82.
triple. That's triple.
That's not including the traveling.
travel.
Getting into your hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning and the sleeping patterns. And that's something I know is like if you don't get enough sleep, you increase chances of injury.
Yeah.
So
I'll do it for $100 million.
right. Price is right. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's where I bring it back down to the grassroots level, right? Because that's the main premise of this show is like, kids how do we change this narrative for kids, right? Like, again, I encourage my kids just to have 2 games, or not, 2 teams, and I tell you should do maybe 4 games max on a day because these kids are going to do it. But I agree with 2. But
3 for the championship game.
Right, but I tell them, listen, if you're going to play, 4, give yourself 4 games max, right? Like, and obviously, hopefully get some rest in between. Like, get a, if you have a 9 a.m. game and a 11 a.m. game,
well, that's true. You do AAU.
Rest, you know what I mean? Circuits, and then, go do a couple afternoon games and then be done, But, again, I don't know. It's a fine line. Just curious your guys' thoughts on that one.
10 games is crazy, man.
Yeah, 10 games.
I have kids that do that, man.
Well, when I coach, I say 2 games because when I coach my Lions team, after the second game, the third game, we're not rotating on defense.
Right.
We're not playing basketball the right way. So what's the point of even playing basketball if we're not playing the right way? Like, you guys aren't hustling hard in transition. You're not hustling back on defense. It literally becomes roll the ball out. Let's have a layup line.
Right.
And now we're not getting any better.
Right.
Like we're conditioning. But now we're like, our bodies are hurting, so it's like you said, it's counterproductive.
Exactly.
So go home and rest. You know what I mean? Or get some shots up. I'd rather you go over there and get some shots up on the side court versus running up and down like halfway playing.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? And then just developing bad habits because you're tired and you're lazy and your back hurts.
Right.
So you're developing bad habits, but you're having success because it's AAU and it's the 3rd game of the day or the 4th game of the day. So nobody's playing hard. Everybody's tired and hurting. But I mean, some of those tournaments they do play hard. Game, but I'm just talking about the normal typical, average local one.
I mean, it's such a balancing act, and of course, there's no definitive answer. You just try to manage it in our respective fields as much as we possibly can. I think there's so many at this point. There's so many AAU programs. There's so many quote unquote basketball coaches, right? And what kills me is it's like it's an arms race for all these kids.
Man,
everybody wants the best kids. Everybody, and it's crazy to me because I know you deal with the negative talk on your side of being a high school coach. You deal with your negative talk on the side of being a trainer. And I definitely know I deal with my negative talk as far as being a director and a AAU coach. And it's real funny. One thing I've recurrently heard when it comes to a lot of my teams is, I get elite kids. I just get these elite kids, especially when I've heard this guy.
You do. He does. He always has the best team.
And it's like, it's funny because nobody knew who Jaden Hurtado was or Matthew Schroeder was or Benny Najomo or any, Trevor Alstead or any. Nobody knew these kids when I had them in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Nobody knew who they were. Keandre Burns or any of these kids. Nathan Kent, like. I got them as these D-level, C-level, figuring out. Matt was a power forward for me when he first started. Matthew Schroeder was a power forward for me. Then he became a shooting guard at Whitney. You know what I mean?
Get a bucket match.
Right? Get a bucket match, right? Exactly. That's what I'm like. And if people knew the investment and the work and all you have to do to pour into these kids to help create what they see. Now, again, I'm not saying I created them. No, I said I help in the process to create the player you see in front of you.
Right.
And it's just
well, they see the shiny object. They don't see you're the behind the curtains guy. They don't see what y'all do in the lab over there. You know what I mean? You're the behind the curtains guy. But it matters.
That's why it's so interesting in this basketball climate and culture now. But I don't know. Will it change? Probably yes and no to a degree. I know for me, I would like to always advocate for things being done the right way, right? Like that's why I love the way you teach the game, and like you said a lot of the things that I knew you would say, which is you want to teach them to pass and cut. I saw this one meme. I think you shared it, and I think you shared it too. I think I might have stole it from you or you. But they were talking about in March Madness, you don't see a lot of dudes doing iso ball, where you see guys passing and cutting and moving the ball and taking a good shot. It's like damn, why? And you tell these kids this. It's so crazy to me because we played collegiate basketball. We know college coaches. Guys around our age are college coaches, right? Some of our peers that renew and stuff, and prep school coaches and whatnot. And no matter how much we could preach this to the kids, I mean, we could say coaches are looking for guys who play defense, who pass and cut, who take charges, who set good screens, who are great teammates, who have great body language. We preach this all day. And they still look at us like we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
It's the craziest thing to me.
It's funny. I laugh at it.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Like you could say, you like, do you understand I got a chance to do what you're trying to do?
Right.
And you think I'm wrong.
But I break it down to him and I ask him, because we're all players. So you know, if you're doing if you do a crossover and you do a step back and you spin move and you're off balance and you feel kind of weird and the defender's all in you and you're shooting an off court, off balance shot, you can feel that feels kind of weird.
Right.
Yeah. Or versus you come down, you swing the ball, it comes back to you, you shoot the shot, like that, you're in rhythm. That felt good. Didn't that feel good?
Right.
It's like golf. When you swing, I play golf. You know, when you swing the golf ball and you hit a perfect shot, like the club does the work for you. You feel that. You know what I mean? And the ball just takes off. But if you're up there and you're trying to hit a home run and you're trying to do too much, it feels awkward. Like you don't feel. And it's the same with basketball. If you feel awkward and you feel like that didn't feel like what I was supposed to do, then you probably wasn't supposed to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
do you think that's because of highlight culture?
Yeah,
for sure. I feel social media is a big part of all of this.
You
know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have social media the way the kids have it now. You know what I'm saying? Like I could go on my phone right now before I go to bed and see some dope highlight and be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do this in practice." Right, you know
but that kid lost by 30 points.
Exactly.
And he only had 4 points. No, there's 4 highlights. That's what I say. I say play winning basketball because when you win, that's the best highlight. You know what I mean? The win is the best highlight. And then you get your highlights after that. And then when you play the right way, you're gonna get the highlights. They're gonna come. I preach that to my kids. Like Kendall, he always wanted to dunk, so he would chase dunks. You know what I mean? And not to the point where he's out the scheme, not the system. But he's dunk hunting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, Kendall, you don't have to duck hunt. You know what I mean? You can. It'll literally just play hard, play good defense, trap the guy. He'll give you the ball. And then go dunk the ball.
You'll go get it.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he did it. He's a great coachable kid, and he had, I don't know how many dunks he had. I don't know if there's a Sac High record for dunks in a year, but he probably broke it. This dude was every time you looked up. And,
I guess this is the last part I wanted to get your take on and just kind of talk about it in general. And me and Mark, we're currently talk about this on the show because obviously this is the engine of what makes a lot of this go is parents, right? Parents being crazy, some parents being very supportive. You know, how I want to try to question or frame this question the right way, but when you have parents that are doing the right thing when it comes to their kid, and make this clear, it's not, you can't do a wrong thing in terms of your kid, but I'm just meaning in terms of the sport of basketball.
Right.
And the biggest part, I mean, is letting you do your job, letting me do my job, letting you do your job. How much easier does that make your job?
Well, it's funny. So let me start by saying this because I was a parent. I am a parent, and my son did play, and I wore kind of both the hats, all the hats, or whatever. But I wouldn't want a parent like me. So I wouldn't want to. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want a parent like me on my team because I was a tough parent. I demanded things, but I knew what I was talking about. I questioned. Me and you were cool. I barely said anything. I barely said anything to Chris because we see the game the same way. But some of these other coaches, I even asked hey, let me join your staff. Let me, you know what I mean? Like literally, I come to practice and run their practice for them because this ain't quote unquote good enough for me. And this is before I even had all this coaching experience or a champion, but I'm a champion, so clearly I know what I'm talking about a little bit, right? So you should have listened to me back then. You know who you are. But no, but that's funny. But so I understand the parents a little bit more. I know not a little bit more, but I know where they're coming from. I feel like I know what it's like to be that passionate, emotional parent who's only thinking about their kid in a sense, you know what I mean, or trying to. So I understand it. So I tend to give parents a little bit of break. That's why I talk to them a little bit more and communicate with them because I feel like I know where they're coming from. But in the same breath, it makes my job easier when you trust me. Yeah, you know. And one parent, I broke it down to him, and he would text me every game after something bad happened, and I'm like, look, man, we won 25 games this year and won a section championship. You don't text me after we win. You don't text me and say, good job, coach.
Right.
Hey, that was a great game. I love the sub you made when you put my boy in and we won the game. You don't say that.
Of course
you only say, why'd you take my son out in that situation?
Right.
Why'd you do this? You only question me. You don't never text me and praise. I get all these texts from these parents, but you guys, and I called them out.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't text me and praise me.
Yeah.
And say, good job, coach. Yeah.
Positive
We won 25 games.
Right.
We won 25 games.
No.
And y'all only got something negative to say.
Yeah.
Like, where's the positive love?
Welcome to coach.
Yeah, I know, but then they started doing it. Hey, coach, I just want to say good job.
But that's
I
good you
appreciate
called
it.
him out.
No, and
That's
I
good you
appreciate it
called him out.
because you can always focus on the good. You can always focus on the bad. You know what I mean? But like you said, it makes my job so much easier when you focus on the good.
Right.
Exactly. I tell them I told them this is my first year coaching. I told my kids all the time, I got a 17-year-old daughter. I tell her, like, I've never had a 17-year-old daughter before. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, and next year you'll be 18. I've never had an 18-year-old daughter.
Right.
I don't know what I'm
Figuring
doing.
it out, right?
This is my first year coaching, fellas. We're all in this together. We're riding. I tell the parents too, like, hey, my bad. I might have made a mistake right there, but I'll get better with it.
But see, you don't understand the fact you're man enough to say something like that.
Right.
Because a lot of coaches aren't. You know what I mean? A lot of coaches aren't. Give yourself credit
maybe
for
not
that.
next year because now I'm a champion.
Yeah. Now the ego takes over,
I know,
right?
the ego, like, I'm gonna come in a whole new man next year. Like, can't nobody tell me nothing. Like, y'all want a section championship? Do it my way.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
And what about you, Mark, on your end? I mean, you obviously deal with parents to a certain capacity too. So
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I always, with what I do, you know, if I have a new client or a new parent, like I tell them right up front, like, if we're gonna do this long term, if I'm here to help you guys develop, because even like for me, it's not just about the basketball, like it's the life skills. Because in order to maximize anybody's potential, you have to understand them. And I tell all the parents, like, you guys raised your kids, you know, so they have to trust me so I can learn their personalities to get the best out of them. So that's right off the front, you know, right off the bat, like, this is how I do things, this is how I'm gonna do things with your kid. And I like to collaborate with my parents. You know what I'm saying? And if they're able to do that, then their kid is going to be good. If they're not, then we're not going to be able to get to that potential. So I always try to, like, you know, right off the bat, you know, like I said, I've been doing the training thing for the last 5 years. Has gotten to a point now because of certain kids and some success, you know what I'm saying, that they shouldn't really say anything. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you a champion. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I helped this kid. He went D1 and this is the blueprint.
Right.
Follow the blueprint.
Right.
If you go out the blueprint, then it's not going to work. So I just go right off the bat, like, this is what we got. This is what I do. This is how I do things. That's it. If not, there's a lot of trainers out here.
You're right. You're right.
That's
you
it,
are absolutely
you know?
right.
So,
No, and this is all great stuff. Well, with that being said, we're gonna come to a close, but Matt, much appreciate you being here, man.
Yes, sir.
You did a great job.
Appreciate it.
I want to do a few quick shout outs real quick. Shout out to Dwayne at PHPS. I addressed the holdback thing, so shut up calling me a hypocrite, because he talking about I got a couple holdbacks on my 16U. I said, dude, I told you high school level is different. High school level is different than 8th grade and below. So shut up, Dwayne. I got you on that one. Also, shout out to Coach's Corner IG. They voted you Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
And I just got blown up with this top 10 influential AAU director. So
congratulations to you.
I did not. I was at UPS, and next thing I know, I saw it there, and I wanted to say, hey man, thank you for that. Much appreciated. And you know, shout out to Coach Mike at Van and Coach Fred at Intercom. I've talked to you guys recently. Just appreciate you guys. Mark, happy you're back here.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be back.
He's been ghost, man, but that's just because he's working, so I appreciate it, man. But Matt, you got any last closing words real quick or anything?
Just again, appreciate you guys, man. It's been a lot of fun. I feel like I'm big time now. I'm in the studio. Like I said, I'm a fan. They got me here. I told them, like, you finally invited me. I've been trying to get on the show, man. So I guess they want winners on the show. You got to be a winner to get here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I appreciate you guys having me, man. You know, much respect. I appreciate what you guys are doing for the community. As always, is much love, much respect. Like, you're my big bro. I look up to and everything that you've been doing. So just thank you for having me on the show, man. Much
all
love.
good, man.
Congrats again. Congrats.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Please, again, shout out to my sponsors. Make sure you guys check them out as well. Oops, let me get my sound. There we go. My last sound in. Please check out my sponsors as well. Links for everything will be in description. Links to the video we just watched will also be in the description. Again, everybody be safe out there. Take care of your bodies. Love this game of hoop. Hopefully I keep being able to bring out good content to you. I love having my guys here. Mark, when he's here and he's available, just please follow Matt. I'll have links to his IG and all that good stuff for you. Do the HBO special, help a brother out, hit the subscribe and like. That would be great. And we are out.